So he had a National Diploma in Accountancy with distinction from the Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti and his B.Sc in Accounting from Lagos State University, Ojo, Lagos, Nigeria. And is a Commonwealth Executive Master of Business Administration from the Commonwealth of Learning, Canada, in conjunction with National Open University, Nigeria. He has completed Canadian Payroll Compliance Practitioner Certification and finished with honors. He is a personal financial planner from Canadian Securities Institute. He is also a financial planner and investment specialist. He is married with 3 lovely children. He is a passionate youth mentor and a career coach. So our guest speaker today is fully loaded and ready to share with us a lot of information that would help us. And I hope we are ready. So let's make welcome our guest speaker today, Mr. Abayomi Dada. Please, I would like us to use our digital ends. Let's give him a round of applause. I know you may not want to clap with your tongue, but I would appreciate if every one of us on this call welcomes our speaker this evening. You're welcome, Mr. Dada.
Thank you. Again, I want to appreciate the opportunity to be here this afternoon. And I want to say it's afternoon. Here is 1 o'clock where I am here. And I know it's around 12 in Winnipeg. And the weather here is around 5 degrees. I don't know what the degree is in Winnipeg, but it seems I'm a little bit away from the cold. So I want to appreciate the honor to be here this afternoon to discuss about breaking into the banking sector in Canada, a guide for new immigrants. I discussed with the CEO previous days ago, and I said, I really don't know how many people want to go into banking sector here, but I will be a little bit more on how we can support the new immigrant as volunteers and as board members. So I'm going to be channeling whatever we're doing this afternoon towards our personal finances and how we can help others. And that's what is important today. Sorry. I am not able to move my slide forward. I don't know what happened. Sorry. I'm not able to move myself forward. Okay, I am able to do that now. So I want to start this morning by acknowledging the AISIC contribution to our communities. I want to say, personally, I am a testimony of what AISIC has done when I landed in Canada. It's not an easy thing to land and to, especially for some of us that's landed during winter. I landed around middle of November, and my first winter, I remember the February following year was around minus 45. But thank you, AISIC, and especially our CEO. Thank you so much for your selfless services, which you've been rendering over time. Before we came in here, we have had so much of what you've done, helping people. And when we came, we saw it also, how you assisted us, supported us, even up to now. Up to this week, you still are helping us. So I want to appreciate you, sir, for your services. And I pray that God will bless you in Jesus' name. And also, I want to appreciate all the board and the volunteers here. Volunteering is a very good thing, especially in this part of the world, whether you're volunteering in an NGO like this or in the church or wherever you find yourself, it's a good thing that you're doing. And thank you for doing that. And I always put this in my presentation anytime I had the opportunity to present. We live in a community, especially back home in Canada, where a lot of things have gone wrong in the time past. And I'm always committed to truth and reconciliation. I understand what people have been through, and I understand the kind of divisions that have been in the society. And I'm always committed to stay wherever the reconciliation will be and wherever the truth will be. And the next thing I want to say here is I want to tell you the purpose of doing this this presentation and place some disclaimer. So here I am presenting this to help educate you about Canadian banking system and the sector itself. And also I'm going to be talking about some financial basics, which you can use to help yourself and help the new to Canada. And also we also talk about the credit system. Someone say something? Someone trying to talk to me? Hello?
No, sir, you're good.
Okay, thank you. So that is the focus today. This, although my bank knows all my presentations, they know all my volunteering. As a matter of fact, just last 2 weeks, I was awarded some money for my volunteering all through 2024, which I also contributed to a cause, I believe. So they know that I am presenting today, and every time I'm presenting to people, my bank always aware about that. But this does not represent advisory services. If you need some financial advisory, I would recommend you see your financial advisor, or you can see me in my office. And also, I am here, I am not really representing Scotiabank. I am not the bank representative, but I am giving this to educate my community. So this is part of my community development volunteering job. The target audience today, I assume, will be the AISIC board, the executives of AISIC, and also the volunteers on the call, and also new to Canada. I am a passionate person about new to Canada because I just passed my 5 years, so I'm no longer new. In Canada, once you're 0 to 5, they still call you new to Canada. But when you are past 5 years, you are no longer new. So I'm just a little bit above 5 years. And I'm passionate about my people because a lot of my people are making mistakes. And these mistakes are grievous. And once you make financial mistakes in Nigeria, in Canada, it's not like those of us from Nigeria or those of us from Cameroon or those of us from other African countries. But when you make mistakes in finances, it's a major thing. And that's why we're going to talk a little bit about new to Canada. And I also want to use this opportunity. I share with the CEO the other time. I will also be presenting to another NGO January 11. That is going to be on personal finance. So we will be going down into cash flow, budgeting, and everything so that we can have a good year. So if you wish to join, then you can see our CEO. He can give you the link. So the main goal of this is to talk about the foundational financial literacy. Wherever you're coming from, whether it's from Nigeria, Cameroon, Eritrea, wherever, the way we do our finances in Africa is totally different from what we do here in Canada. Canada is an advanced country, you know that. And they have things they do in a different way. So what we're going to talk about here is just to talk about those basics, the fundamentals of financial tips or financial strategies, or just to educate you a little bit. Because when we talk about financial literacy, we can't finish that in 1 year. We can go from module to module to modules and cover up. But whatever we can do today, we'll try and do within the time I have. Then we're going to talk about how you can start right. So anybody that is below 5 years in Canada, we call them start right people. And most of the banks and credit unions, they have start right programs. They have start right mortgages for new to Canada. They have start right account. That's why in your bank, some of them give you 1 year free. They give you 2 years free. They have different strategies. So you need to find out what are the start right programs and strategies that they have. So we also talked about because the startup strategy, is going to be very important to the people that we are helping, the people that are coming into Canada who don't know what is happening here. So we're going to talk about those strategies so that you can help them to settle. And the third one we're going to talk about is to reveal the pitfall to avoid. You see, a lot of new to Canada are making mistakes. Someone bought a car recently. And he said he went there, maybe they were speaking English, he didn't understand them. He signed the car. It was when he signed the car and saw the insurance and he saw everything and he said, oh, this is too much for me. And he was saying, what can I do? Went back to them. They said, okay, if you're going to take this car back, you're still going to pay this amount. And when this story got to me, I told them, I said, I'm sorry. That is how you're going to stay for the next 5 years. Because if you sell the car, you're going to lose a lot of money. So this person I'm talking about has to be doing 2 to 3 jobs. He can't buy a house, but to finance that car. So there are a lot of things to avoid as new to Canada. And there are ways we can maximize Canadian wealthy opportunities. They are there. I know our CEO is versatile in ways you can maximize through real estate. There are other ways through investment and every other things you can do, which can help you. Now, my objective today is to introduce you to Canadian financial basics and to also help you, to tell you how you can mitigate financial stress. As I am telling you this, you'll be able to tell people that are coming. Let me tell you, there are a lot of financial stress in the society. A lot of people are going through difficult times. That's why you're seeing people going through depression. Most of the depressions also come from finances for young families, for singles, because in Canada, sorry, when I say in this land, I'm referring to Canada. So in the land we have, we find ourselves, everything is bills. You pay bills every month. Some even pay bills bi-weekly. So how can we avoid burden of debt? We'll talk about that so that I can teach people that are coming. Then we also talk about how do we build good credit strategies. Somebody told me I have to this one happened recently. This lady came from Nigeria a few months ago. Then he called me over the phone. When he came to Nigeria, he got to my office, and my colleague from the front counter was able to tell her, oh, we do have a Nigerian here who is an advisor who can help you. Then they booked an appointment with me. I met with her. I guided her in some ways she can go around, whatever she wants to do in Canada. Few weeks after, she started calling me. I said, I need to come see you. I need to come see you. I said, what happened? She said, I need line of credit. I said, what happened? So when you come to meet me, I always want to find out, why do you need what you said you need? You may not need it. So we started talking, and I said, my friend told me, for me to have a good credit, I must have line of credit to support my credit card. I must have, and I said, no. A lot of information in the air, but misinformations are too much. So I want to tell everyone on board here, like I tell people that have come to meet me, you will be open to so many information, whether from your family, from the church, from the community, but filter all the information you get. Filter the information. Run your information by an expert, by a professional. You get information about health. Run it through our medical doctors in the here that we have in the group or wherever you have them. You got information about finances. Run it through some of us that are in the banking industry. You want to buy a house. You got the information. Run it through some of the people that bought house, like our CEO. Run all your information and filter all your information. Don't go for all the information, please, because it's risky. A lot of people are making mistakes. And the next thing is, how can we help our newcomer to start right? We're going to talk about that. We're going to be looking at financial management tools a little bit. We can go deep into budgeting and cash flow because these are big topics. But if we have another chance in the future, I have told our CEO, he can bring me on board again. We can go deeply. I always want to talk about cash flow and budgeting at the beginning of the year because that's when you can help you to save well in that year and have a good finance year. So if we still have time between January and February, we can look at budgeting and cash flow, and we can have a good personal finance system for the year 2025. So here, we are also going to talk about investing opportunities to explore in Canada. We have a lot of them. We have some that are short time, the middle time, and the long-term investing opportunity. So we want to see all those opportunities that we have in a little bit. We're just going to talk about that briefly. The next thing we want to talk about is, what do you need to know about Canada? Canada is an advanced country. We all know that. It's a developed nation. My friends, when they call me that they are coming to Canada, I tell them, if you are Christian, please make sure you stay connected to God. Because if Antichrist meets you in this land, I am not in Canada now, I'm talking from US. The same thing happened here. If anything, the system, everything is interwoven, everything is linked together. If Antichrist happened to meet you in this part of the world, I'm telling you, no hiding place. If someone comes to meet me and they say they want to open an account as new to Canada, once they give me their details and I put it in the system, I'm always able to tell them what has happened. Sometimes I will tell them, what you landed at Toronto. What do you do here? So they will say, how do you see that? I say, oh, no hiding place. The system work together. So we should know that they have a good system that work. Now, we also need to know the impact of positive and negative credit system. If you have a positive credit, is good. Having 5 credit card or 3 or 4 credit card or line of credit may not possibly make your credits to be bad if you know how to manage your credits. But you can even still have 1 credit card and have a bad credit. So we have to know how this works so that we can help our new to Canada. Then we want to see how to identify theft and fraud. Right now, theft and fraud is on the high rise in Canada, not only in Canada. So we have to know that this is going on. If this happened to you or happened to our newcomers, because a lot of our newcomers are getting calls, they say border patrol, they say something SIN. How do we help them out? So those are the things we will talk about a little bit here. Mind you, everything is a little bit because we don't have enough time to go through everything. So I'll just chip in how to handle fraud, how to handle theft, identity theft. If someone steals their SIN, if someone steals their driver's license, what do they need to do? So we will talk a little bit about that. Then we'll also talk a little bit about your rights, their right and responsibility, and protection channel. If anything happened to your bank account, what is your right? What is your responsibility? Our new to Canada people should know that. A lot of people don't know, and they're suffering. They don't know that they can benefit from all these things. So we need to let our people know that all these things are important for them. They cannot just sit down, oh, they debited me in my bank account and they just kept quiet. No, you don't do that here. So I will throw some information about what they need to do on how to get some of this thing done. I hope I still have my audience. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we're hearing you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
So now I want to talk about this. This is very important. 10 years ago, I mean 2015, the African countries that we have on this top 10 were not there in Canada. Now, in the top 10 as such, so far this year, I am getting this data is so far this year, not at the end of this year, but so far up till a few days ago, this is the data I could get. What you need to know, that top source country where Canada is looking for people, professionals that they want to bring in are, you can see the list. Indian is still topping the list. Filipinos are still second. Chinese are the third. But let me tell you, Nigeria has climbed to the fourth. And Nigeria was not there, was not even on top 10 in 10 years ago. 5 years ago, Nigeria was struggling at the number 9 or number 10. But now Nigeria is now number 4, followed by our neighbor, Cameroon. Cameroon are so many right now because Canada is getting a lot of people that speak French. And you know, Cameroon a lot of them speak French. So then followed by Eritrea. So what does this tells you is that even though whatever Trudeau is doing or whosoever is coming on board, they will still continue to ask for people from Nigeria. Just here, maybe some of you have been following the news. I have been following the US news for a few days. Even though Trump is sending a lot of people out, they are planning to bring a lot of technocrats and a lot of IT guys, a lot of doctors in. And you can see there's a kind of war happening in happening in a Trump camp right now, because Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they are saying they need people, and the people are saying no, no, no. So it is, even though he's been saying he's going to send a lot of people out, but people that he's going to be sending out of US now are people who are not, who don't really have the skill job. So if we can still have the skilled people back home, still encourage them to take those exams, because things will change for better. I know that. So that is where we stand for now. And sorry. Okay. So another thing we need to know for new immigrants, I probably put this there because we're going to be working with the new immigrants. No matter what they come with, you just need to find out they need to find out their eligibility. Some financial benefits they can get from Canadian government are CCB, which we call Canadian Child Benefit. And I tell you, in the bank, we also calculated, we usually calculate a percentage of CCB as your income if you want to buy a house. So CCB is very important. Canada Child Benefit. Tell those of them that are PR to quickly go in and register for their what do we call it, ETS card or whatever, and register with CRA and register everything they need to do as soon as possible so they can get their GST and HST, and they can get the provincial and benefit as well, and other benefits. So please, let's make sure we find out what are they coming with. Are they coming as with spouse, workers on work permit, or coming as PR, or they're coming as students? And remember, as students, once they're 18 months, their children too can have eligibility for CCB, and they always backdate for them. And that's why I see a lot of my people, they are not able to utilize the money, because when they start getting the money and the government backdate it, instead of them to invest it properly, they use it for something else. Pray God will help us in Jesus' name. Amen. So now let's talk about this. This is what we need to know. Continue. 10 mistakes to avoid as new immigrants. The reason why I'm putting this is that we at AISIC, we are helping immigrants. And as I'm talking about these two, it's also going to help you. So please have this in mind, that these are very important for our immigrants to know even before they start coming here. As they're connecting with us online, maybe whatever, link to us, we should tell them some of those things. They should not underestimate Canadian weather, especially for those of them coming to our Winnipeg or Manitoba, or they are going up north, they're going to the territories. You should always tell them that they should not underestimate Canadian weather. If it's possible for them, whilst they're landing, make sure we make arrangement for them. The following day, I have the opportunity to take some people following day as they are landing to get some kit for them, which is very important so that they can stay warm. And number two, they should not forget their new locality that's here. They should have an insight of what's happening here. They are not just coming here and that's why you are beginning to know everything about here. They should have an insight about that. Two, they should not delay in establishing financial foundation. I do recommend, if you land today, within 1 or 2, 3 days, make sure you visit a bank and open an account. As new to Canada, almost all the bank give them 1 year free account to open. And like in my bank is unlimited interact, unlimited debit, everything is unlimited for 1 year. Then after 1 year, they can discuss about whatever account they want, because there's no free account in Canada, no free checking. For you to have a free checking, you must be holding your money, whether your savings money or some percentage of your money somewhere. No free thing here. Then the new people too, the mistake a lot of them make is that they are not familiar with Canadian workplace norm. It took me a while to know that my boss does not like me to call him sir. He doesn't want me to call him Mr. He wants me to call him by his first name, Chris, Aaron. That's what we call ourselves. So They should familiarize themselves. That's why we need to help them at AISIC to familiarize themselves with the way things operate here. So now another thing they do is that they're disregarding the benefit of educational advancement. You see, let me tell you this. I am not a fan of you going back to school and do another B.Sc or another diploma, although I did another diploma here when I came. And the reason why I did it was when I came, 2 weeks after I came, I got a job.
Because you know we spend a lot of our pay, right? And you.
So 2 weeks after I came, I got a job. Then after that, I came in November 2019. I got a job. I started working around December, and COVID struck. We all know COVID struck in 2019, and I was working at Portage Place in Winnipeg, and there's a need to downsize where I was working because they were closing public places because I was the last person to come in. And they used LIFO method for me. For those of you that do accounting, you know what FIFO, LIFO, you know what it means. First in, first out. Last in, first out. Well, I was the last in and I was the first out. So they leave a LIFO method for me. So I was asked to leave. I had no job to go. Then I went to government and I said, I have nothing to do. And the government said they cannot provide me any job because everywhere is almost closing down. Then the only thing they asked me to do is they asked me if I want to go back to school, and I said yes. And the government provided me some thousands of dollars, enough to go to school and more than enough. So that was why I went back all through the time of COVID time. So I was doing my online courses. So if you want to go back to advance, maybe handy, or you want to do the diploma or B.Sc, you are free to do that, but I am not really a fan of that because it doesn't really give you what you want in Canada. What I will want you to do is those professional qualifications, those courses that can make you stand out. They are very important. You want to go into banking, you have to go, maybe you have to go to Canadian Securities Institute. You want to go into as doctors, you have to look at how can you ask people around, what do you need to do? Maybe you're a nurse back home. What do you need to do? Just find out. You want to do social work. You want to do those CPR and all those are those things that I really think you should focus on. Don't disregard that. Inadequate research on housing option. Thank God for AISIC. I know they've been, even we, before I landed, with the help of CEO, and he was able to support my family to get our first apartment, the apartment we live. And when we wanted to buy our first house too, he was the one that even signed us the rater. And he was coming to our house and say, how much have you saved this month? I don't know whether he has done it to some of you. Then he put us on our toes and we're able to buy our house then. And I pray God will bless him for that. And so anyone that is coming, you can always refer them to our CEO and other board members. They will be able to help. Then please don't forget your local connections. I say I'm not on Canadian Manitoba group, but I am in connection with so many things. They've invited me to do one or two things for them, but I'm not a key person in their group because I feel not to be. But anytime they have functions and it's not clashing with my time, I go there. If they want me to come in, I go there. Those are the local connections. Let me tell you, it's helping the Indians. It's helping the Filipinos. In my former bank, a position was open in the bank, and we were talking that they were asking people to apply for that position. So this particular day, I was going on with my colleague, who is an Indian person, and we just stumbled into the position into their new branch. And he said, I said, this is the person that will take the role. I said, and I told him, I said, what are you saying? The advert just came out. He said, he said, so person was having, is it birthday or naming ceremony? And all of them were gathered, and that was where they discussed and they finalized it. I said, really? And lo and behold, that was the person that got the position. We just saw, congratulations. So please, we should not forget our local connection. It's quite sad. When I got to the boss, and instead of us, sorry, just a moment, please. Sorry, Sister Bisola, how many minutes do I have more?
You have 15 minutes, sponsor. I tried to message you.
I have how many?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that is what we see. And please don't let us disregard our local connection. Now, then SK and all those stuff, so we know all those one. So financial basic, saving strategies, and we have talked about checking accounts and budgeting and cash flow, investment, credit, fraud prevention, financial planning, and those areas can be something we can talk about in the future. Now, let's talk today. This is very important when we are bringing our people, if they're coming in. We don't have the savings account like we have in some other African country here, because the savings account here does not really give you the interest. Maybe some of you have been to the bank where they tell you that your high interest savings account is around 2% or less than 2%. So we just have to make sure that our people understand that the checking account here is meant to run all their normal bills, all their normal regular account. The savings account here, another thing they need to know is if they go to the banking hall to withdraw from the savings account here, they will be charged. In my bank, you are charged $5. So when you have a savings account, you have to do it. It's called virtual account, which means you have to transfer online or through your mobile account from your savings to your checking. So for some of you, please, I want you to make sure you go through your statement. If there are charges that you don't know about, and make sure you talk about that. And what are the saving strategies that you have in Canada? You can actually get all these high interest savings account, like I've mentioned. You can set them up for your emergency funding. You can also use it for your vacation. You can use them for other things. Please, please, it's very important that you have saving strategy for yourself. No matter how small from your income, every bi-weekly, put it towards your savings. Actually, I advise people to have at least 3 to 6 months of their regular expenditure, monthly regular expenditure, as their emergency spending. So if anything happens, your car, something happened to it, which you don't plan, like now the battery go down because of winter, you have that emergency fund to take care of it. So please, emergency fund is very important. It's always called a short-time saving strategy, and you can use your high interest savings account for that. So you can ask your financial institution about high rate savings account. And you can, if you want to save for a long time, we'll be talking about investing later on down the road on some things you can invest. You can invest in first home savings account for some of you that have not bought house, and you can invest into tax-free savings account, RSP. Those are some of the things we can do. Then we have talked about checking, then budgeting and cash flow. I'll just mention this. Cash flow, cash inflow is the money you get, your regular paycheck every bi-weekly. Cash outflow is what you pay out. Please, I say to many people, and I say to you, know your income. Don't be in Canada to impress anybody, because it's going to get you into trouble. Know your income, know your capacity before you go into any expenses. And categorize your spending. Yes, if something is not worth buying, don't buy it. Some people come to meet me in the office and say they want to buy this, they want to buy this. I usually tell them we're going to book a follow-up appointment. And why I do that is I want to know if they still have the same interest in that thing they want to buy, or because their friend bought it, they want to get it by all means. So categorize your spending, the discretionary spending. Make sure that you are able to reduce some things. Your discretionary spending, maybe you eat out every time, you want to reduce your eating out, you spend so much on so many other things. Just categorize them. There are some things that you cannot reduce. Your bill, your hydro, your rent, those ones, they are fixed. There's something you cannot do. But those ones that you can discretionarily reduce, please work on them. And always I know we from Africa, we have a lot of people calling on us, send money, send that. Pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. When you get your P, you get your paycheck, the first thing you do, for all of us who are Christian, is to take out our tithes. After your tithes, is to pay yourself. For some of us, me, myself, as my pay is coming bi-weekly, my pre-authorized contribution is going to my investment first, even before anything. I don't even get to see it because I have already set them up. So do the same thing for yourself. Create an habit of save first and spend later. And we have all this investment, I've mentioned it. We will not be able to talk much about that now. It's a whole topic on its own. Those are the investing options that you have in Canada. The vehicles, the registered vehicles. The registered vehicle just means you have some tax benefits, whether your tax is being deferred or your tax is free. Then the non-registered investments, those are the GIC, in non-registered, mutual fund, and some other things. And a little bit that we need to talk about is the credit. This is a very, let me see, how much time do I have left? Can you please, sister, can you please message the other one that I connected on my phone? Then I can see your message.
Oh, okay,
I'm not
sir.
able to
You
see
have 10 more minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Now, this is very important. Please, out of my 10 minutes, I would like to spend 5 minutes here because everything about Canada is credit, credit, credit. They don't care whether you have money back home, whether you are the most richest person in Nigeria or in Africa or in anywhere. They don't care. They want to see your credit. They want to see who you are. They want to look at your capacity, your character. They want to look at, are you credit worthy? So this is very important. So Canada operates a positive credit reporting system. This means that all information about your credit account gets reported to credit bureau, whether you like it or not. That is the system. If you rent a house, you default in paying your rent, you'll be very surprised that it's going to be on your credit. If you buy a phone and you're defaulting in paying your bills, you'll be very surprised it's going to be on your credit. And there are two main companies in Canada that handle those credits. One of them is Equifax, the other one is TransUnion. And all the financial institutions, majorly all the financial institutions, work with those two. So the credit score is calculated based on the data that they get from time to time from your property companies, if you are living in apartments, or if you have your mortgage, from your bank, from your phone bills. If you have a phone, they get all those things because they come together. You know, I've said it before. Everything works together in Canada. It is difficult to hide. And they use that to sum up your credit score, which is usually 3 digits. I always tell people, once your credit score is going below 650, is a problem. That means there's something on your credit. And you are free to write Equifax. You are free to call TransUnion, those two people, and ask them to give you a copy of your credit without charge. They won't charge you. That you just want to see it and read it. So you are free to ask them. And every 2 months, credits change. Let's say today, because you bought a car, your credit came down. After 2 months, if you pay regularly and you are not owing and your credit card and other things are okay, your credit is going to go up. So we should know that. What are the things that affect the credit score? Those are the things that I've listed there that may affect your credit score. Those are the things I've seen there. So you can see them yourself. Please and please, the landline, the last line. A lot of people have come to meet me and said, Canada operates a system that you are bankrupt after 7 years, your credit will be wiped off. It is there in the law, true. But the bank or whatever, they will still see it. So it is better you don't go into bankruptcy, please. So that aspect, I want to make it clear. I hope I'm making sense to the house. Am I making sense? Am I talking? Someone hearing me?
Yes, so you have a bunch of reactions on there.
Thank you. Okay. So I will also make a copy of this slide available to our board members, so you can have it from them. Who are the people that use your credit? The bank uses it, the credit union, the credit card companies, the car leasing companies, the retailers, the mobile phones. These are the people that use your credit. And again, anyone that wants to check your credit, you seek for your permission. Please note that your consent must be sought, because before your credit will be taken. So maybe when you are filling that house form, there will be a place where they will say answer yes or no or tick the box. They are always asking for your consent. Nobody will check your credit without getting your consent. And we have soft check and hard check. So if they want to do soft check, they may not need to get your consent because it's not going to affect you. But if they want to do hard check, which is going to drag your credit, they should get your consent. Then you can tell our new to Canada all these things I'm telling you. Please, I may not be able to reach everyone, but you are there to reach them. That's why the AISIC is organizing this, so that we can be able to reach them. So another thing is we need to understand that your credit character is very important. And to us, in general, you need to give, I've mentioned that. So let's go there. Those are the things that spoil your credit. Non-sufficient bond. When you have an NSF, we call it NSF. When somebody tell you have NSF on your account, maybe you have had it before in a bank, you say you have NSF. What it means is non-sufficient. Let me tell you, non-sufficient fund on a credit bureau is worse than you missing your credit payment, your credit card payment. Can you hear me? Non-sufficient fund on your credit bureau is more than you missing your credit card payments. It's called a bad check. That means you gave, yes, I can see that. Thank you, man. That means you give someone a check, or not even a check. You ask somebody to take a regular payment like your rent from your account or your mortgage payments, and they get there, they cannot find anything. It's worst. That's what we call NSF. The bank will charge you $48 for that. Some bank will charge you $40 and another $5. Some will charge you $48 and another $5. So please don't do that. There are nothing that spoil credit is check and savings account that they close. If you close a checking account, you ask a bank to close your checking account, please go back and find out if that account has been closed. Because if the account is an account that gives you monthly debits, if it's there, you may not know. And it's spoiling your credit already because the debit will continue to go every month. So always find out credits that you are not using. A lot of people get Walmart credits, PC Financial, credit cards, Capital One. If you're not using some of them, close them. You don't even need more than 2. But because you want to do 1 or 2 things, you have more than 2, then make sure you are paying down on them. That you're only owing on like 2. And if you are owing, make sure you owe less than 40% on your balance. What I mean is that if you have 1,000 on your credit card, at the end of the month, when you are going to pay, try and pay. Maybe you have spent 600. Try and pay out of that 600. Try and pay everything that is going to be less than 400, so that you have your balance less than 400. Anytime you have more than 400 on your credit card, you don't know. What it means to us, the banker, is there's something we call total debt ratio. Once your total debt ratio is more than 40%, to some banks, they won't give you any facility, credit facility. Some 42. We have total debt ratio, we have gross debt ratio. So we have different things that we use. So I pray the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. Other things are there, so you can read them up. Then how can you do credit card? That is there. How can you build a good credit system? Start early. I won't say you should not get credit card. If you don't get credit card, if you're using debit card in Canada, you can't go far in buying things here. So you need credit. You need to build your credit. So start early and make sure you check your credit report regularly. I've told you that you can email them. You can also go to on your mobile app with your bank and make sure you check on your mobile app, check where you can see your credit score. It's going to show you your credit score from time to time. And don't submit too many applications. You go here, you ask, you want to buy a house. This one, they look at you, they give you pre-approval. You go to another bank, pre-approval. Go to another bank, pre-approval. You are not helping yourself. And again, talk to an expert. I usually recommend that once in 6 months, meet with your financial advisor. It's very important. As we are wrapping up, we want to talk about fraud. Like I've said, fraud is a major thing here. Please, it can happen to anyone. If it happened to you, you notice there's a fraud, first thing you need to do is make sure you rush down to your bank or wherever. I'm talking about stolen. If it is stolen items, rush to the police station. If it is on your account, rush to your bank. Make sure you quickly tell them this has happened on your account. They should block their card or call them. You know, sometime I understand. You can stay 30 minutes, 1 hour before they talk to you. I'll be wrapping up in 2 minutes now. I can see. Yes, you can get the recording. Yes. You can talk to them. They will get it for you. I'm seeing some question here, man. Sorry, man. So please, if it's happening in your bank, rush to your bank. Tell them immediately, because if you are calling them, if it is weekend, then you might need to call. And if it is your credit card, there is a way you can lock your credit card on your mobile app. The first thing you should do is to lock the credit card first. So first of, if it is debit card, that may be difficult, but make sure you are able to transfer the remaining money out first on that debit. But if it is credit card, lock the credit card, then call your bank. If they are delaying 1 hour, you've not been able to respond to you, make sure you get like 1 or 2 devices to call at the same time. You are calling, your partner is calling, or somebody is helping you to call. Anyone that gets through first. You understand? Then you also have a Canadian Anti-Fraud Center that you can call. I provided that there, and every other information about fraud. So, and useful information to protect you. If anything is happening on your account and you are not ready, you're not happy about that, you are free to complain and to give your feedback to Financial Institution Customer Service Center. If they're not agreeing, you can go to Financial Customer Agency. They are all online, or Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. They will take the case up for you. In fact, as a financial institution, if you have complaint and we don't take it up, the government of Canada usually fine banks heavily. So we don't play with it. We don't play with it. My last day at work, one of the things that kept me waiting was a complaint, which I need to submit within 24 hours. That is the timeline, because that anything can happen before I get back to work. So the bank need to quickly know about it so that they don't get fined. So that is about it. It is your right to say whatever is wrong with your account and to have them rectify. So at this point, I want to say thank you everyone for your time, and I will now give room for some questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. I believe everyone on this call can agree that we need a part 2. So we'll probably have to talk to the board to bring it back. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation. There's already a question in the chat. So if you have any question, please feel free to put it in the chat or raise up your hand so I can call you. The first question is this, sorry. The question is about credit score. Having a responsible credit score has not been granting a better interest rate than what's generally obtainable. Is credit score basically to punish bad creditors or not to give better deals for people with good credit habits? Or I'm not getting the concept yet. Oh, you're muted, sir.
Thank you very much for the question. Number one, there are ways we rate our credit in Canada. We have some bank rates A, B, C, D, E. But if you go on your own mobile app, it's going to tell you maybe when you are clocking 750, thereabouts, it's going to say excellent. I don't know whether some of you have checked it. And before 750, it's going to say good, fair. You understand? That's how it's happened. Now, for the question of the person asking the question, the good credit will give you better rates on a variable system. Now, if you go to bank and you say you want to take a loan, or you want to do a mortgage, they will tell you that their rate is prime plus C. That C is what your credit is working on there. The prime is majorly based on Bank of Canada announcements. And the bank is going to put their little change. Like before I left, the Bank of Canada was 3.5 or thereabouts. And my bank was 2.2. That's the little gain we have on it. So most banks were 5.45 before I left. Well, and I think that will be what it should be right now. So now that is the prime. The C aspect is your own credit. Okay, the very good example is your line of credit. Your line of credit does not come with fixed interest rate. It comes with variable. So it's prime plus C. That C is where your good credit system is working. Then that's number one. Then number two, to avoid bad debts. You know, some of our banks collapsing in Africa. Before we came, the bank I even work in Africa has been merged with another bank, Access Bank. I work back with Diamond Bank. Not because of bad credit and some other things. So that's why they have the system here. In fact, there's another system that you don't know in mortgage. We call it stress test. Maybe somebody has told you before. Stress test. We want to stress that rate and see what if rates go up. You know where before we came down, the rate used to be around 5, 7, 8. What will happen? Will you be able to pay your mortgage? So it is not a discipline. It's a way to checkmate that the banking system is still alive, living well, and also your credit is also helping you very well. It's helping you very well, especially with the variable. But the fixed most time, the fixed rate depends on your relationship with the bank and your bargain. So that's what I can say. Thank you. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, yeah, and it gave a thumbs up. So thank you so much, sir. And I'm so sorry. I know we're over time, but I would just please ask that we stay till 1:15 so that we can capture as many questions as possible. The next question is, please, which one of the investments would you recommend for a newcomer?
That's a good question. Before I can recommend an investment for you, I want to know what is your financial goals. You have come. Do you want to live in another person's house for the next 5 years or 3 years? Do you want to buy a car in 3 months or 4 months? So it depends on what your financial goal is. As a financial advisor, I talk to you, understand your financial goal, and work with you. My job is to make sure I help you to actualize the goal. So, but I would recommend that you invest into registered investment platform. Those are the ones that have been created by the government of Canada, where you can invest and both your income and your growth is free from tax. Or some can be deferred. For tax-free savings account, it's free from tax. For RRSP, it's only deferred. And if, let's say, you want to buy a house in next 1 or 2 years, and you want to invest, I will tell you to invest in first home savings account and invest in RRSP. Because under first home savings account, you can use your money to buy your first house. RRSP allows you to use up to $35,000 to buy your first house as well. And you can also use RRSP money to go back to school. So for that question, if you want to know which one do you want to do, then you might need to meet with a financial advisor, or you can also meet with me.
Awesome.
I don't know if I have a copy of my card online. I can share it.
Okay, we can definitely share your email address if that's okay, or your contact information after.
Okay.
So the next question is, can a bad credit score be remedied? So if yes, how? If no, what would be the recommended advice?
Thank you. The bad credit score can be, you can reverse anything bad in Canada. The only thing I just won't worry about is going into bankruptcy, because that takes a longer time. That takes a longer time, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. So if the credit is bad, yes. What you need to do is, number one, call for your credit. Have a look at that credit. If you come to meet me, I can only tell you, oh, these are this you have with this bank. I won't tell you in details because I'm not allowed. But you can go and write, you can mail Equifax or TransUnion, and say, can you give me a copy of my credits for free? So you can see what make your credit score bad. Then you can start working on it. If it is that phone B, maybe you need to, a lot of people got their credit score bad because they closed their phone with tellers because they were annoyed. They went to Bell and tellers kept on eating them. And they did not know. So you can meet with tellers, have an agreement. You can call their collection companies. All these companies have collection center and make an agreement with them. Once you make the agreement, those people will report back to credit people that, okay, this person has started paying. So you can change just have a look at your credit score first. Have a look and see what makes it bad. And if you need help also, you can see me, we know how to work on that. Then start making a savings habit. Start creating some kind of saving habit. If you are eating too much outside, I'm sorry. If you come to meet my office, I always ask people, do you want a sugar-coated advice or a real advice? A real advice can turn to something annoying. So some people, I tell them, I said, somebody came with me, an Indian person. I said, hey guys, this place I'm going to is going to make you annoyed with yourself. Just promise me you're not going to be annoyed. And he said, yes. So when I show him finish, and he said, okay, I saw it coming. So please, it's very real. Meet with an advisor. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. So we only have 5 more minutes. So we have 3 questions now, or 4 questions. I'll try and lump them together. So the first one is about social insurance number. I understand we should be cautious how we disclose it, but sometimes I'm curious if it has been compromised in any way. Is there a website or a resource to check where and what purchase or applications my SIN number is being used?
Your social SIN, social identification number also work with your credit score. So someone that want to use you, don't want to use you to buy anything, it's going to be reported on your credit score. So the credit score, those people that I've mentioned are still the place. You know, there was a place on the slide that I say check regularly. When I mean check regularly, I'm not saying you should be checking every month. No, you can check once in 3 months or once in 6 months. Even me, I have not checked in the past 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So next question, is it advisable to have many accounts in different banks?
No. Why do you want to have many accounts in different banks when you're paying on account? No account is cheap in Canada. Hope you know. Yeah, if you want to have a checking account, regular checking account, maybe because you are new to Canada, you may still be having free accounts in 1 or 2 banks. I tell you, on the midnight that account is going to be 1 year, 11:59, you will see strange things happening. But before that, they will send you a letter first. If you don't respond to that letter, that midnight, go and watch. Something will happen to your account. So please, it's not advisable. Just have the account you need.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Can we use line of credit as credit card instead of having both credits?
Good question. That's a very good question. Now, both of them are revolving credits. Both of them are revolving credits. Now, the good thing about both of them are good and the bad. So let's start with the credit card. The credit card is a revolving credit that you can spend now and pay later. One good thing about credit card is that you do have some days that we call grace period. So let's say you buy something today and your bill come out on the 14th. I mean, your bill come out like 14 days after. The bill will still give you some other days to pay. So between the time you buy and when your due date is, it is called a grace period. You are not being charged interest on that particular period. So that is good thing about credit card. But credit card has high interest. Some credit card are 19.9, 20, 21, 22. That's another bad aspect about credit card. Why the line of credit? My bank has line of credit with access card. Maybe that's why that person is talking about. You use the access card too. Mine is in my wallet as credit card. But one thing is that the line of credit is low interest. Some of them are below 10%, some below 8%. But you are paying it's counting from that day that you buy something for line of credit. We call it cash advance. So it's counting from that day you buy something. So line of credit start counting immediately. Credit card defer to a number of days in the future. based on your due dates.
So thank you so much, sir. And honestly, I feel like we should have another session. The last question we have is, please, what is the best way to mail TransUnion?
Yeah, just go online. Just type TransUnion. It's going to give you the detail. You can call them. You can see their email there. So just type TransUnion online. You see their details.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. So can we all just give a virtual round of applause to Mr. Dada for helping us today to navigate Canadian system financially. Let's just give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of AISIC, we'd like to say thank you for coming, and we hope to see you in the future, to give us all the nuggets.